John Banzaf is currently spearheading the attacks against the food industry, advising many of the lawyers who are currently going through the process. People say he's crazy, but that's what they used to say about him when he first sued the tobacco companies. Until he won.
I think in terms of responsibility, it's fair to point the big gun at McDonald's. McDonald's is one of the biggest, but more importantly, it is the one with, far more than all the others, lures in young children. They have the playgrounds, the closed indoor playgrounds. In many places, there are no other playgrounds. You've got to take your kid there. So even at 2 and 3 and 4, those kids are being lured into there. McDonald's is very heavy on birthday parties. They, of course, pioneered the Happy Meals. Now the Mighty Kids Meals also, with those little gotta-have-them toys, so they get the kids in. And, of course, the whole clown. McDonald's is the clown. A lot of those ads appeal primarily to kids. There's a cartoon on TV which features them. So they, more than others, lure the kids in. And I think all of us are far more concerned about the kids.
I think that fast foods are a major contributor to this epidemic.
In 2000, Dr. David Satcher became the first Surgeon General to draw attention to the obesity crisis, declaring it a national epidemic.
Now remember, we're supersizing everything. You go to any place to buy, go to any fast food store, and they're trained to tell you to buy a bigger size. For 5 cents more, you can get the supersize.
Federal government will define a piece of meat, 3 ounces of meat, as a sensible portion, and that looks like a deck of cards. Few people would be able to find this deck of cards if they were served a piece of meat, a steak, in a restaurant. It would probably be about 4 or 5 times the size. One typical bagel that one is eating that looks something like this is going to comprise 5 servings of bread. When fast food companies first opened, they generally introduced one size. For example, one size French fries when McDonald's first opened, called fries. That size fries is now called small, medium, large, and supersize. That original size is still here. It's got about 200 calories, but the supersize is going to pack in over 600 calories.
Hello, may I help you?
Yeah, could I get the double quarter pounder with cheese meal?
Large or supersize?
I think I'm gonna have to go supersize. Look at that. Look at that Coke. That barely fits in there. Oh, shit. I'm gonna... Look at that. Look at how big that thing is. Look how big that French fry is. That thing is like 4 feet tall. Double quarter pounder with cheese. More calories than anything. There it is. A little bit of heaven. Mmm. See, now's the time of the meal when you start getting the McStomach ache. You start getting the McTummy, you get the McGurgles in there, you get the McBrick, and you get the McStomach ache. I'm dying.
Oh, God, that's so nasty. Oh, it's making me puke.
My stomach feels horrible this morning. It doesn't feel good at all. There we go. I'm getting this really weird feeling right in my midsection, like basically in my penis right now. It's just like this. It's really freaky.
That is very odd.
Yeah.
It could be from the caffeine, but I'm not, I couldn't really pinpoint that 100%.
I have a delivery from Mr. Morgan, 1339.
1339. I made it over the 3-day hump. You know how when you quit smoking? I don't know how many of you out there smoke cigarettes, but you should stop. I quit smoking. And it's the 3-day hump. It's the 3-day hump when you quit smoking cigarettes. If you can make it over those 3 days without smoking one cigarette, if you can make it past day 1, day 2, day 3, you make it over the hump, you're fine. Same thing with this. I made it past day 3. I'm all right.
Left unabated, obesity would overtake smoking as the leading preventable cause of death in this country.
I was at this meal, and it came up that one of the people was a smoker. and somebody else at the table started hectoring them about it. What's the matter with you? Don't you know how bad it is for you? It'll do this, that, and the other thing to you, and you really should stop. And the smoker, rather than saying, fuck you, which, you know, is the mind your own business, which I think is the appropriate response, was abashed and defensive, and like, oh, I tried to quit, and yeah, I'm going to try again, and you're right, and so on. At that same table, there was a quite large woman. And I was wondering, what if this guy, instead of confronting the smoker, had said to the large woman, what's the matter with you, you fat pig? Don't you know how dangerous it is to be so overweight? Stop eating, for God's sake, and don't you dare get dessert, and what's the matter with you, right? Same logic. I'd be hard-pressed to find a distinction between those two examples. Okay, so one is now socially acceptable to hector smokers, but the other one isn't quite yet. So the question is, at what point will it become acceptable to publicly hector fat people in the way that the smokers are publicly hectored?
Rock and roll McDonald's. Rock and roll McDonald's.
One of the most disturbing things to me is that in the last 20 to 25 years, we've actually seen a doubling of overweight and obese children and adolescents.
And this weight gain has been linked to countless health problems later in life, such as hypertension, coronary heart disease, stroke, gallbladder disease, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, respiratory problems, endometrial, breast, prostate, and colon cancers, dyslipidemia, steatohepatitis, insulin resistance, asthma, hyperuricemia, reproductive hormone abnormalities, polycystic ovarian syndrome, impaired fertility, and adult-onset diabetes.